Greetings and salutations. I am Stephen Bryden, District Director for District 64 Toastmasters, and welcome to District 64 TV, where you will learn about opportunities to build up your communication and leadership skills. Today, we live in a complex and changing world. Innovative technologies are continually changing how people connect and relate to one another. Communication and leadership development is increasingly becoming a critical skill set to cultivate and grow, and these skills directly benefits one's ability to navigate and negotiate our paths through change and in life. We hope this program will be your go-to place to learn about Toastmasters membership experience in clubs across District 64 Toastmasters. There are so many dynamic events and member experiences to learn from that celebrate success. The content we aspire to bring will always showcase the undercurrent, the critical role that communication and leadership skills development plays to achieve success. Welcome to District 64 Television, Episode 1. I am Stephen Bryden, the current District Director for District 64 Toastmasters for the 2024-2025 program year, and I will be today's host. In just a few moments, we will interview our special guests today, Firdaus Timyati and Marcus Nabat, who will each share their communication and leadership development experience. We will hear about accessibility, the importance of learning and peer support, and the importance of having fun while growing too. To close this episode, stay tuned for a Tip of the Day segment where Man Doan, a distinguished Toastmaster, will share a useful communication and leadership tip to take away. Please help me welcome Marcus Nabat. Marcus Nabat is a married father of two who has spent most of his career in communications or related fields. He joined Toastmasters in 2010 when his workplace started a corporate club, and he's been hooked ever since. He has held a variety of roles in his club and the district and has completed numerous speech contests. He also enjoys playing ultimate frisbee at a recreational level for about 30 years and has recently learned how to crochet. Marcus is here today to share a little of what he's learned from Toastmasters and how the program might benefit others. Welcome, Marcus.
Thanks, Stephen.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came across Toastmasters?
Well, there's not much to tell. I had heard about Toastmasters almost 2 decades earlier. I was doing a summer job in an office, and this fellow who was originally from Iran told me about this club that he would sneak away to at noon, where they would give him questions and he'd have to come up with a speech at a moment's notice, which I thought was amazing. And so it hung around in my head for a while, but it wasn't until my work started a corporate club that I decided to join.
Oh, cool. Can you tell us in some ways that the Toastmasters program has benefited you?
I think that's a much better question than why did you join Toastmasters? I think a far better question is, why are you still with Toastmasters? I think Toastmasters has this reputation for being a place that emphasizes public speaking, and certainly it is a leadership skill. So I'm going to answer this question 2 ways. So first of all, as a speaker, when I joined, I felt I had some speaking skills already, but what I quickly learned is I had some bad habits. And with the immediate feedback that you get from the club experience, I learned to, first of all, hear them and then work at getting rid of them. For example, I would use far too many grunts, ums, ands, like, you know, and by having that feedback given to me, I learned to hear them and then get rid of them in my speech, or reduce them anyway. I also discovered that I would, in a speech, I would kind of go down too many little side quests, too many little rabbit holes. And so I learned to cut away, because often the speeches that we're doing, the prepared speeches, are 5 to 7 minutes. And I would lean towards writing a speech that was 8 to 10 minutes long. So had to cut away those things that weren't absolutely crucial to the message. So that's the first thing. But also, Toastmasters, although we think of it as a place for public speaking, the motto for the organization is actually where leaders are made. And so it teaches us important leadership skills, of which public speaking is only one. At every meeting, we practice running a meeting, we practice delegation, we practice giving and receiving constructive criticism. These are all important leadership skills, and I've really benefited by being able to participate simply by doing it and practicing it and getting feedback and having the opportunity to do better.
That's wonderful. Can you share with us a little bit more on how communication benefits leadership or enhances leadership?
It's an excellent question because the two are certainly related. I had a former leader, and one of the things he used to say is that leadership boils down to make a plan, share the plan, execute the plan. And so obviously in the sharing the plan, that's where the communication comes in. You need to make sure that you rarely work in a vacuum. You need to work with others in order to get something accomplished. And it's by making sure that you articulate, what are the expectations? What is the outcome that we're hoping to achieve? Then others have a greater chance of success. And that communication goes both ways. People may have a better idea how to accomplish something. It's through communication that the plan is achieved.
Nice. What are some causes of poor communication within an organization?
Thank you for that question. I have spent most of the last 10 years of my career working in corporate communications and internal communications. So as part of that, I've had the benefit to be mentored by some really experienced people. And I've also had the opportunity to make a lot of mistakes. And those are the learning experiences for us. In answering this question, a quote comes to mind. It's by William White, who's an American journalist. And the quote has gotten adjusted and re-quoted and changed over the years, but my favorite telling of it is, the greatest challenge with communication is the illusion that it has taken place. In other words, an organization, to answer your question, an organization might think that it has done communication, but in reality, maybe it wasn't very effective. And that ineffectiveness can take many different forms. For example, I imagine we've all been part of organizations, and the company puts out, let's say, an email, and a month later, they find that the event wasn't very well attended or this initiative wasn't taken up. Well, we sent an email, one email, a month ago. So what we need to combat that poor communication is to, first of all, you think about your message and you craft it to the needs of your audience or your audiences. There may be more than one and they may have different needs. And I have found that the more time you spend crafting that message will more than pay off in not having to chase down answering questions afterward. The other important thing is to put your message where people are going to be able to receive it. A few moments ago, I joked about sending an email a month before an event or an initiative was supposed to take place. But maybe that's not what maybe they're in an environment where people are not frequently at their desks. They might work in, say, a warehouse setting or a retail setting. So that might mean a poster. That might mean reminder messages. It might mean asking leaders to bring them up in a meeting and giving them talking points and maybe a sheet of frequently asked questions so that they can really be adept at sharing the message. So these are all different. It's a complex question with a big answer, but those are some highlights, I hope.
No, thank you for sharing. Can you tell me the significance of how grammar and vocabulary plays a role in communication?
Grammar is a two-edged sword for me because I love it maybe just a little bit too much. And I can get really stuck on, you know what, use passive voice, it should be active. And really, what we care about is effective communication. So grammar is a set of, let's not call it rules, let's just say that it's these conventions that we've all kind of agreed to. And so if we understand the grammar of a language better, we're better suited, we're better positioned to deliver an effective message. If you use bad grammar, there's a chance that your message may be interpreted wrong, or it may even wind up communicating the exact opposite message that you want. Vocabulary, of course, vocabulary is the kind of the rich well that we draw from in order to communicate our ideas. And so having a larger vocabulary for your audience may allow you to choose just the right word, and maybe not even just a word, but a phrase, like using metaphors to say, oh, you know, life is like an orange, or something like that. It doesn't have to be a polysyllabic word. It just has to be a way to tap into the richness of the language so that you can communicate your message more effectively.
Well, thank you for sharing. And the last question I have is, how do you prevent procrastination and how do you keep your motivation going towards achieving your tasks, completing your tasks and goals?
Interesting question. I would say that question has less to do with communication and leadership and more to do with psychology and knowing oneself. So for me, things that work for me is being well rested. When I am under-rested, I feel overwhelmed, I feel very not smart, I feel very non-creative, and by contrast, when I'm well rested, I feel sharper mentally and more able to do the work at hand. So that's one of my strategies. And the other one, I learned this little trick in the last couple of years where someone said, if you have to tackle a project and you know it's going to take a half hour, multiple hours, and so it's daunting to get started, you promise yourself, okay, I'm going to work on this, but I'm only going to work on it for 5 minutes. You can work on something for 5 minutes, right? So you start, and wouldn't you know it, once you're 5 minutes in, well, I'm already started. What's another 10 or 15 minutes, and before you know it, you're well onto your way to achieving your goal. So really what this boils down to is just get started, and success breeds success. You get one task done, and now maybe you're more motivated to tackle that next task, and so on.
Nice. Well, thank you so much, Marcus, for joining us today and sharing your experiences and these great tips and takeaways. We hope to see you back soon and to learn more about your continued success. Next up, after the break, we will hear from Man Doan, Distinguished Toastmaster, who will share a communication and/or leadership tip of the day.
Have you ever seen someone giving a speech with their hands stuffed in their pockets? It kind of makes them look unsure, close up, or even a little too casual, like they'd rather be somewhere else. Your hands play a huge role in how confident and engaging you appear. When you hide them, you lose a big part of your ability to connect with your audience. Instead, keep your hands visible and use them naturally to emphasize your points. Open gestures make you look more approachable and in control. A simple trick: imagine you are holding a small ball in front of you. This gives your hands in a natural, comfortable position without looking stiff. And if you ever feel unsure, just let your hands rest at your sides. It's way better than hiding them in your pockets. So remember, when your hands show confidence, you look confident too.
Next up, after the break, we will hear from Firdaus Timyati. Please help me welcome Firdaus Timyati. Firdaus is a professional engineer who is enthusiastic about renewable energy. She joined Toastmasters to improve her communications and leadership skills. She has convinced her husband to join her Toastmasters journey too. Sometimes she even brings her 5 kids to go to the meetings. Her favorite part of educational meetings is when fellow Toastmasters share their stories via prepared speeches in Pathways. These speeches empower Toastmasters to continually learn and improve. Pathways also support diverse and inclusive environment through storytelling. She loves Toastmasters because Toastmasters provides a supportive environment for lifelong learning. Welcome, Firdaus. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in Toastmasters?
I was born in Malaysia, which is halfway across the globe from Canada. And I choose to raise my family and develop my career here in Manitoba, which eventually I found Toastmasters. And how did I find Toastmasters? I heard about it at a meeting when a VP of our company mentioned it. And I thought, that's a good activity to do if I want to expand my professional network beyond technical background. So that's how I started. And eventually that has progressed to improving my communication skill, leadership skill. And now I'm in a different club, no longer with the first club that I joined, and that's because I want to know and meet the Manitobans that we serve.
Oh, that's wonderful. Today you're embracing the leadership journey, and you've taken on and leading as a division director within District 64 Toastmasters. Can you tell us a little bit about that role?
Being a division, thanks for the reminder, by the way, this is going to be a long answer with the 16 clubs and 300 members, over 300 members that we have in Division A. When I started Toastmasters, I want to expand my network. And then once I'm in it, the first year someone asked me to be the president, and I said, no, I need to learn from the bottom. So that first year I became VP PR in the club. And the next year I became president of the club. And then the principle is to say yes, because someone asked me, you've been the club president, do you want to be an area director? I just said yes. And after I became a year being an area director, somebody approached me and asked, would you like to be a division director? Again, I said yes. And that's how I become Division A director with 16 clubs and over 300 members. And it's really rewarding because I meet a lot of people, see how different learners learning at different pace, and that's what I find enriching my life.
That's wonderful, and what a wonderful opportunity. Can you comment a little bit on how confidence has played a role in your success as a leader?
How confidence, like how I develop confidence, I would say in two sections. Because the first one is learning by doing. In Toastmasters, to build confidence is to actually practice it. And because I have to practice in Toastmasters if I want to get my projects in Pathways done, it forced me to actually do it and be okay if I make mistake, if I fall down, because I know I can get back up again and do better the next time. And that is the essence of learning by doing. The second one is continuous improvement. In Toastmasters, when we do our speeches, we get feedback and evaluation, which people or the evaluator will tell me, here are the things you want to improve for those. And that's how two important things to develop my confidence, which is learning by doing and also continuous improvement.
I love it. Can you share with us, what is the best career advice that you've ever received?
Ooh, the best. I feel like it's not fair to choose just one when I got a lot of career advice. However, one that stick with me is that change is the only constant. And that makes me realize the world around me will be changing. Well, to be honest, I changed from being single to mother of 5. Those are changes, and instead of fighting change is to embrace it, to see these changes and the challenges that come with it as opportunities to grow. And I think in Toastmasters, there are a lot of these changes that, again, I can practice embracing changes, fall, don't like something, figure out, okay, here how I can do better. And I think that's the best advice anyone can give to anybody, is that change is the only constant. Be prepared to change for future changes because we can do better.
Oh, no, thank you for sharing that. I also hear that you support a club as a club coach. And I imagine that's an interesting experience and also an opportunity as well. Can you expand and share a little bit about what it means to be a club coach?
In Toastmasters, I was given the opportunity to coach a club, and essentially it's rebuilding a club to its former glory, or to bring it the glorious days of the past into the future. And it started with one, active listening, because if I want to rebuild a club, then I will have to understand what was there before, how the members see themselves and their club in the future. And once I do that, we have the goal. So the goal-oriented in me worked out because, okay, here's what the past had been. Here are the things we want to be in the future. And here how are we going to close the gap. And therefore, I start to break down the goal and see how to achieve it. Also, as a club coach, I find it gives opportunity for me to do things that I would not usually do in my day-to-day experience. For example, managing social media account, and I manage their LinkedIn page, and trying to increase engagement from the audience. It's really a good experience in rebuilding a club so they can stand up back again, stronger, better than ever.
It's really admirable things, and thank you for your service in supporting those clubs to become even healthier. Firdaus, we are grateful for you joining us today and sharing your story and growth and success as a leader. We really hope that you will see you back here soon to learn more about your continued success and growth and providing leadership development to others. Next up, after the break, we will hear from Man Doan, Distinguished Toastmaster, who will share a communication and/or leadership tip of the day.
One of the biggest lessons Toastmaster teaches about leadership is this: leaders listen first, speak second. In Toastmaster, whether you are running a meeting, mentoring someone, or just giving feedback, the way you listen matters. People can tell when you are actually paying attention versus just waiting for your turn to talk. And guess what? When people feel heard, they are way more likely to trust and respect you. So here's a simple trick. Next time someone's speaking, don't rush to respond. Just pause. Take a second to process what they said, then reply. That tiny moment makes a huge difference. It shows confidence, patience, and that you actually care about what's being said. And that, my friend, that's real leadership.
After hearing the communication and leadership experiences from our guests today, we hope it might inspire you to take that next step to explore your communication and leadership growth to success. If you're interested to learn more about the Toastmasters program to accelerate your growth, it's just one easy step to find a club near you. Go to www.toastmasters.org and click the Find a Club button to find a Toastmasters club that is located near you. There are clubs that meet at different times in person and online. Don't wait to take your next step. See you next time with District 64 TV.
Jacket kind of sparkles, but it looks okay in
that's
your...
just the focus assist. So the main thing is that you want the green around the eyes, because that's like the focal point.
I'm colorblind. Huh?
And leadership development. is increasingly becoming a critical skill set to cultivate and grow, and these skills directly benefit one's ability to navigate and negotiate our paths through change and in life. We hope this program will be your go-to place to learn about the Toastmasters membership experience in clubs across District 64 Toastmasters. There are so many dynamic events and member experiences to learn from that celebrate success. The content we aspire to bring will always showcase. I mean, I could open it up. I mean, I don't know how, unless my tummy will explode out. I don't know. Well, does that look, or, well, no. Yeah. I mean, I could, is that better?
Would you guys sit down?
Yeah, could you sit?
Oh,
I moved your chairs a little
How
bit.
come you don't have the microphone on?
Unsure, closed off, or even a little too casual, like they'd rather be anywhere else. Your hands play a huge role in how confident and engaging you appear. When you hide them, you lose a big part of your ability to connect with the audience. Instead,
Oh, there we go. Okay, increasingly becoming a critical skill set to cultivate and grow. And these skills direct maybe just a little bit slower. There you go,
Whenever you're ready.
okay.
Oh, do we need one over here too? You went too far.
No,
Just don't go
this is
outside
good.
the pattern.
Yeah, no, this is good. I feel trapped.
You are trapped.
Yes.
Okay.
Now let's get on with the show. Please help me welcome Firdaus Timyati, which is not in the studio at the moment. Is that what's on? Yeah. A little problem. So like you could go, well, yeah, Firdaus is the next one that I have written on the script, yeah.
Have me on here once.
Yeah, you're fine, yeah, okay, looking good.
You had a point. If I don't do something, then I'm not on any of the recordings, eh?
Hey, hopefully that was okay. Is it good? Very pro, well done, Marcus, well done.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it was good.
I was going to put.
Oh, yeah, the ding, that's amazing. Yeah,
I
it's
was going to put
amazing.
it in airplane mode, but I also said I'm the contact guy in case somebody comes here.
Yes.
And I didn't know
No.
that notification. Adam's coming in.
Okay, so that's kind of the example of when he's starting to
Yeah.
lose it, pause. Just
Yeah.
it's easier than trying to find
Okay.
the
good.
right page.
Yes. Yeah, this is a wonderful learning experience. Like, oh man. Yeah, like, it's cool. Look at this CTV or City News.
Credit
Like-
goes to you, Lizzie. You're really good.
Yeah, thank you, Lizzie. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
You're so supportive.
I think so. Yeah, I think we're done recording. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well done.